What's good, YouTube? This is KB the Flair. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got something pretty good today, man. We got the sis man spitting some fire, right? We got a sis speaking some facts, man. Man, you gotta love it, right? You gotta love it. You gotta love her aura. You gotta love her energy that she brings. You gotta love the facts that she speaks, man. Once again, man, like I said, a lot of these videos, man, that I've been reacting to are, man, calling other sisters out, and that's what we need to see. That's what we need to see, man, because I ended up having to see a comment before where somebody said, why aren't, if the women are as bad as y'all say they are, why aren't y'all holding them accountable? Why aren't y'all doing this? Why aren't y'all doing that? I mean, do you not see what this channel is about? Do you not know what Red Pill is about? Do you not know what the manosphere is about? So when people say stuff like that, you just kind of have to question, right? You just have to question, why are you asking that? Why are you even saying that? But of course, you got this beautiful sister here, man, who's just breaking it down and just keeping it 100, man, because a lot of women, man, they miss the whole point of the message, right? And of course, this is something that we've been talking about for a while now. We've been talking about this for a while now, but for the most part, most of your sisters miss the point that is being said. Reason being is because, hey, you know what? They either missed it because they just hard of hearing. They missed it because they're only listening to respond. They miss it because they're stubborn, or they miss it because, hey, what you are saying is just too factual, and because of who they are, they just can't self-reflect and they just can't make that change. Or they get offended and say, well, you know what, hey, instead of looking at the message for what it is, I'm gonna look at it this way. I'm gonna look at it as offensive. Or I'm gonna sit over here and look at it as, well, you know what, he's not trying to give me advice. So let's go ahead and see what this beautiful sister has to say, man, because once again, she is spitting fire, right? She is spitting fire.
I want y'all to know how unhealthy it is to focus on delivery of a message over the message itself. If you refuse to hear truth or accept truth or wisdom or correction or accountability, whatever it is, anything that's rooted and based in truth, and you know it's based in truth, but you don't like how the message was conveyed, you don't like the tone, I need y'all to understand that's actual insanity. You are looking for a problem to have, and you're going to find one. When you have gotten to, is how you said it, it's not what you said, is how you said it, that just means you just got a bad attitude. There's something in you that just does not want to receive anything at that moment, and you're going to find a reason to have an issue with. All you come up with is something so subjective as tone. And black women be the main ones trying to police other black women's tone, but then at the same time defending black women's triflingness.
As she said, we have sisters, man, who encourage this behavior, right? Y'all encourage this behavior. A lot of sisters encourage this behavior. Prime example, look at Megan Thee Stallion. Look at how many sisters are still backing this sister up after she did what she did. But see, here's the thing, man. Let's just say if a man, right? Let's just say if a man did what Megan Thee Stallion did behind her best friend's back, or if she, or if he did what Megan Thee Stallion did of lying, and just how messy that whole situation was. A lot of people would tear that man down. A lot of people will look at that man and say, well, he's obviously, weak. He's this, he's that. He's obviously not somebody that you can like, right? A lot of people will say he's easy to dislike. But when you have somebody like Megan Thee Stallion who could do some of the stuff that she did, we just turn a blind eye to it. What sense does that make? We live in a society where you have to watch your tone, right? You have to watch what you say because, hey, guess what? You're going to have people out there that it may offend, right? Even though it might not be directed towards them, even though you might not even be talking about them, talking to them, somehow, some way, if you say certain things or if you have a certain tone, people will look at it as a certain way. And the fact that a lot of women look at it that way, and a lot of women now use the, oh, well, you know what? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Right, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, granted, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make any sense because I do get it to some degree that there are times and place, where you can raise your voice, or where you just have to understand. You have to understand the situation that you're in, right? You can understand that. Let's just say, main prime example is the people that you're talking to, right? If you're going to your boss or whatever, you're not going to be sitting over here talking to them all types of crazy. You're going to talk to him like you have some sense. You're going to talk to him, man, like you were raised properly. And then there are times where you have to raise your voice. But once again, when you have a lot of women today, even when you talk to them, you know, in a calm manner, they will still push the narrative that, hey, oh, well, this person might be triggered. This person might be this. When you might be getting into an argument, and let's just say you're having a discussion, a lot of women, right, mainly a lot of your sisters, like to use the, oh, well, why are you mad? Oh, well, I mean, there's no need to be triggered. Oh, who hurt you? And it's always deflection, right? That's all it is. It's forever deflection. And that's all this is. It's deflection. I can bring up a point to you, and I can be kind of frustrated about it. And guess what? The woman starts breaking down, right? The woman starts breaking down. A matter of fact, look at this one right here. Look at this video right here, where you have a guy who is trying to talk, right? He's obviously fed up with this woman that he's with, but he's trying to talk. He's trying to be polite, and he's sitting over here talking, and she sits over here and interrupt him, right? And he says, "Can you please stop interrupting me while I'm talking?" And she just burst out crying, like,
me, and I wouldn't have done it. And
if I don't know you, then
please stop interrupting me. The thing is, when I got down on one knee again, I got interrupted.
You keep cutting him off, but when you bring that up to her, what will she, right? What will she say? Well, you know what? I'm emotional. Why would you talk to me like that? Don't yell at me. Right now we have switched the whole, you know, the whole point, the whole message, the whole purpose of the conversation. Now it's about to be switched to, well, you didn't have to talk to me that way, right? So now we go from the point that I'm trying to make to, now we got to sit over here and validate your feelings. Now we got to sit over here and worry about your feelings. And that is how a lot of people are moving today. That is how a lot of women are moving today. It is mighty sad that this is what we get on a daily. It is mighty sad this is what we get on a daily. We have grown adults prioritizing tone over facts. Well, you know what? I get what you're trying to say. I get that you're trying to tell me that, hey, I shouldn't be out here on the streets doing this. I shouldn't be entertaining these type of guys. But why do you have to say it like that? Why do you have to make it seem like I'm out here being a SL? Y'all put that blank in there, and then the word ends with a T, right? Why you got to make it seem like that? I mean, well, that's what it is. Well, that's kind of messed up, and it's sad when you see a lot of men, and you will see a lot on Fresh and Fit, right? You know, sad, and you know what they're going through because they just shoot themselves in the foot. But a lot of women will sit over here and get upset with what Myron was saying, or how Myron says it. Oh, well, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And you hear that so much, and it's like you missed the whole point. You messed up the whole flow of the conversation. So I think this is something, man, that it just needs to be talked about more. We definitely need to bring it up because a lot of women still use that to deflect or to keep from having to look in the mirror because, hey, guess what? Because I'm holding you accountable, you can't take that. So guess what you have to do? You have to sit over here. You have to deflect. You pretty much try to guilt trip, make somebody feel bad because, hey, guess what? They're holding you accountable. That's all it is. It's deflection at the end of the day. When somebody is using that against you, like, come on, man. We already know what time it is. So, of course, we got to read the comments. So, somebody in the comments, man, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. But the guy says, you just gave some people a pass to be abusive. So then the person who posted this says, if that's what you got from this, that is sad. Man, I tell you, boy, I tell you, right? We're going to go back to that comment, but somebody else says, yes, the truth is the truth, but your tone matter and how you deliver a message. It is unhealthy to focus on the tone, but it's just as unhealthy to ignore it. Somebody else says, I knew I wasn't crazy. I've calmly and clearly conveyed things that still somehow has been received with the wrong delivery. That's the moment I knew folks can't stand accountability. And nothing's worse than a person attempting to make themselves a victim. And that's pretty much what you're seeing in pretty much these top two comments right here, where, you know, people in a sense want to play victim in the sense of, hey, well, you know what? Hey, well, you need to lower your tone. How you need to do this. And once again, it does play a part. And that's why I said there's times and place for it. But for the most part, man, even when somebody get wrapped up into it, they will always, a lot of times, right, mainly your women, they will take it out of context and say, well, he's triggered, well, he's mad, oh, well, you know what, well, your tone. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm just passionate about it. Maybe it's coming off as rude, but it's not that. But you don't need to sit over here and mess up the whole flow of the conversation just to point that out. And this is what a lot of people do. This is what a lot of women like to do. And once again, you get nowhere, right? You get nowhere. When you talk about communication, you get nowhere when you do that. You make me even more mad. If I'm not mad and you still can come out of nowhere and say, why you triggered? Why you mad? I'm gonna just get even more mad. It's like, bro, like, stop it. Like, you're being annoying now. So somebody else says, this is why discernment before disclosure is necessary. Not everything needs to be said by you at the time you wish to say it. Not everything will be received by the person who needs to hear it. And that is a fact, and I'm thinking she, I don't know if this is a he or she, I think it's a she, but what she is pretty much trying to say is that there are some times where, and this is just my interpretation, that there is also times, man, where at the time, you just don't need to say anything at all. You just don't need to say anything at all. Just because even when you're in the heat of a moment, a lot of people are not going to receive it, right? If you're very mad at somebody, you're not going to receive some of the things that they may be saying, just because, hey, once again, you're just in a different headspace. You're in a different mindset right now. So sometimes you have to leave the situation. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, let me remove myself, just because there's no way I can internalize whatever the situation is, right? Hindsight proved that the message was still right. No matter how it came out, we have to toughen up and be accountable. It's how we grow. Somebody else says, woo, baby, these folks stay mad at my delivery. Laugh out loud. I'm like, no, you're angry at the truth, not the tone. Then she responds to that part. And beautiful. And just beautiful, right? Because I believe most of these comments, and then you just keep going. You can keep going, but most of these comments are sisters, right? Most of these comments are from sisters, man. And I love it, right? And I freaking love it, right? And I freaking love it, man, because once again, you got a group of sisters who saying, man, listen, we get it, right? We get it. We emotional, but at the same time, and they're not saying that, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they understand it, that, hey, we are emotional. So sometimes we will take it out of context, but at the end of the day, we are adults, and we can understand that, hey, they're just trying to convey. They're just trying to communicate, right? Women love communication. So, hey, guess what? When he's trying to communicate, I'm not going to sit over here and throw it back at him. I'm not going to sit over here and use it against him. Well, you know what? Well, yeah, you're communicating, but you're doing it in a condescending way. Well, you're communicating, but you're doing. Stop it, bro. Grow up. Now, of course, before I even get up out of here, man, we have to read those comments from that first comment, where the guy pretty much says that, hey, well, you know what? You're pretty much given a few people a pass, man, to be abusive, right? So once again, the lady, of course, says that if that's what you got from this, then that's kind of sad. So let's go ahead and see his response, right? Let him explain himself, right? So he says, no, ma'am, I knew where she is coming from, but there was no balance at all. Just because it's the truth doesn't exempt tone. So talk to the person any kind of way, as long as there's truth. Some don't even care about truth. They just like to abuse power. That's what I mean. And this is what I mean by, you have a lot of people who try to be disingenuous. That's not the point of the message, right? That's not the point that they're trying to make. That's not the lady's message, right? Now, if some people interpret it as, well, you know what, hey, this is giving me a pass to be abusive, then obviously those people have some kind of issues, right? It goes deeper. Right, it goes deeper. But no sane person is going to look at this and say, oh, now I can really be disrespectful. No, we understand that it's still tone. But the fact that in today's society that people focus so much on tone, that even if you are enthusiastic about the conversation, or if you put in a lot of emphasis on what you're trying to say because you done said it 1,000 times, then people say, oh my gosh, well, it's the tone, it's the delivery. Well, I done said it 1,000 times. Right? Or, well, I'm very passionate about this conversation. I'm very passionate about what we're talking about. Sometimes if I'm deep into it, I might get a little triggered. But hey, you don't need to come out of nowhere. Well, it's your tone. Well, it's your tone. Maybe I'm into it, right? But we have adults, man, who sit up here and cry over tone. It's wild. It's mighty wild. It's mighty wild. So then he still responds and says, I still love your page though. Somebody else says, huh? That's a reach. Somebody else says clown. Somebody else says, yeah, he's ridiculous for this. Y'all always want to be on an abusive side. She's speaking on the truth of the word and receiving it. There's a different side to everything, but can we focus on what's being said instead of automatically speaking into the negative aspects of what your perspective took from it? Well, 10 out of 10 response, right? Somebody else says that's not the norm who she's speaking on, and that. Once again, he's being disingenuous. You're using extremes to prove your point instead of admitting you're reaching. Somebody else says, you're right, have a good day. Somebody, so then he responds again and says, you know what, you're right. So, I mean, at least he's admitting defeat, right? At least he's admitting defeat. And we can also say that, hey, he's taking the high road. But at the end of the day, the brother is wrong, right? At the end of the day, the brother is wrong because he's trying to be disingenuous. And this is what a lot of women like to do. This is what a lot of imps like to do. This is what a lot of people in society like to do who have this kind of mindset. Like this guy, they always want to use the super far extreme, right? The things that barely, the minorities, the stuff that hardly or rarely ever happens, they want to put that at the forefront, or you're giving people room to be abusive. Nobody's not. The message is, it does not matter about the tone. The fact that we live in a society where people focus so much on tone that they end up missing the message. And then there are times that they miss the message because they feel that the tone is bad when the tone is not even bad. Everybody in the room can say, well, I don't feel like it's bad, but hey, because a person feels some type of way, then hey, well, you know what? I need to get out of jail free card. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this card. You can't fall for it, people. Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe.